Tune into the Green and Growing program on Eagle Community Television with Holly Dickman, Ellis County Horticulture Agent. Holly will identify common lawn and garden issues and provide up-to-date information weekdays at noon and 9 p.m. on Channel 14. Green and Growing. Brought to you by Eagle Community Television and Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40 next to the Bickle Schmidt Sports Complex.
Well, we're certainly getting into that gardening time of year, and maybe you've already planted a few things in your garden, or maybe you're just going out now and starting to shop for some of those seeds that you will ultimately plant in your garden here in a couple of weeks. If you're out shopping for seeds, certainly there are a few things to look for, depending on the brand. Many of them will have a nice picture of that final product of what you're going to ultimately end up with after you plant those and grow those all season. And that's pretty important because you need to know what that end product's going to look like. If it doesn't have a picture of that end product, maybe it had a picture of it in the catalog that you were searching through. Somewhere there's a picture of that end product that you'll finally end up with when you get done growing your plants. As far as other information on that seed packet to pay attention to, lots of good stuff there. Tells you how deep to plant the seeds, how far apart to plant the seeds, how long before those seeds will have to grow before you can actually harvest any produce from that plant. And that's really critical, especially with some of our warm season vegetables such as pumpkins and squash. We want to make sure that we have those things planted in a timely fashion, or make sure we choose varieties that will grow and actually produce squash or pumpkins before we get into those colder temperatures and have a frost at the end of the season. If we get to the end of the season, we have a hard frost, that plant dies, but you haven't had any produce off of it, you've essentially used all of your time and energy and water and resources trying to grow a plant that ultimately won't give you any produce. So really important to pay attention to that end harvest date, or how long before harvest on the back of the seed packet. Another thing to think about with seeds, especially with tomatoes, is to look for disease resistance letters. A lot of times, if there's any disease resistance, the seed packet will actually tell you that. If it lists nothing in regards to seed or disease problems or disease resistance, then you can just determine that that seed or this particular variety has no disease resistance. Now, certainly we can grow many, many different types of vegetables here in Kansas, and it's not an issue, but with some of our plants, such as tomatoes and peppers, some of those types of things, you might want to be interested in some of those disease-resistant type information on that seed packet. One thing I wanted to mention while we're talking about gardening is your local extension office certainly has this Kansas Garden Guide available to home gardeners. Very nice handbook about how to get started as far as soil preparation, as far as planting, watering, even some season extension and harvesting information. This is a very nice resource if you're just getting started, but it's also a nice resource if you've been gardening for a while and need a refresher on a few things. It's available at our office in hard copy form for a small fee, or you can certainly download it online for free and have that resource available to you to have the best success at your garden this year. If you have other questions about gardening, or as you go through the season and you have some insect or pest problems that you have questions about, don't hesitate to contact your local extension office for more information. Reporting for K-State Research and Extension and Eagle TV, I'm Holly Dickman, Ellis County Horticulture Extension Agent.
Tune into the Green and Growing program on Eagle Community Television with Holly Dickman, Ellis County Horticulture Agent. Holly will identify common lawn and garden issues and provide up-to-date information weekdays at noon and 9 p.m. on Channel 14. Green and Growing. Brought to you by Eagle Community Television and Riedel's Garden Center, a full-service garden center west of Hayes on Highway 40 next to the Bickle Schmidt Sports Complex.